Good morning. Got a Toyota Tundra in the shop today. Customers complaining that they can't fill up the gas tank. It keeps like clicking. The pump keeps clicking off every time they try to fill it up. It's a common problem on these. One of the valves gets stuck on the like right where the gas tank begins. So we're gonna change that out today. Well, that inspires confidence. I hope this thing's good. So I've done one of these once before. This gas tank is humongous. It's like 5 feet long. And that's the trickiest part, is just dealing with how big it is and getting it out. Here's a look at the new tank unboxed. So as you can see, we have to swap out the fuel pump. But the valve that fails on these is actually right in here. There's a rollover valve in there. And it just gets stuck closed. And you can't fill up the tank. Alright, so here's the feed line that goes up to the engine. And I think the other line is an evaporative emissions line that goes up to the purge valve. But I got those two disconnected. Now there's just a couple of connections that I need to work on top of the tank. So the Evap canister is one of those connections I need to get off. And then over there is the fill tube. Fill tube needs to come off. And I believe those are the only two connections. There's a couple clips like this that need to be removed. But then we can start working on the straps. This is what the straps look like. There's a pin that goes through. Where's the other one? There's the other one. Pin that goes through. And a pin that goes through. And there's just a bolt on the other side. I'm probably gonna unbolt this and undo the pin as well, just to get it out of the way. It makes it easier to work with. Zoom out. There it is.
Bye. right here I realized that there's one more connection that I didn't disconnect yet. There's a tube that goes from the top of the tank to the fuel fill hose. But once I got that disconnected, there was nothing holding the tank on, and I was able to just lower it. I needed the help of my coworker because this thing was so heavy.
Alright, well, that was a pain in the ass getting out because this tank is 3/4 full and it's extremely heavy. But on the top, I unplugged this connector from the fuel pump. The fuel pump needs to be transferred. But this thing's so heavy, I need to figure out how to get it off this arm right here, the steering rack arm. But as soon as I swap that fuel pump, we're back in reassembly, and then I'll think about how we're gonna siphon this gas out of here and put it back into the new pump or new tank.
So it took 3 of us to lift the old tank down. Man, that thing was heavy. But I transferred the fuel pump. There's a special tool that goes around that ring, and you just put a ratchet on it and unscrew it like normal. It just slides out. I slipped it into the new one. Here I got the tank back up, and here's a look at the straps. There's the pin, and there's the part that bolts to the chassis. And after bolting it up, I got all the connections back together, and then the lower little guard here is back on. And finally, the connections that are made here at the rear of the tank. And now we have to refill it. So we ended up just using a fuel pump that was lying around. We hooked up a couple fuel lines to it, and then we just powered it and siphoned it straight out of the old tank into the new tank. And it took a long time because this thing was full, but it was that simple. It took about 30 minutes to transfer all of that fuel into the new tank. But here I prime it a couple times, and here's a look at how much gas is in there. I don't know why they brought it in with so much gas. But here I just cycle it on and off a few times, and then we go for cranking, and she fires right up. Like always, that's another one done. Thanks for watching.